Live. Just me again to start. Carter keeps doing it to me. We're going to get our tweets out here if anyone hopped in as quickly as they did. Then we're going to get going. All right, gang. If anyone's in and watching already. What a game. Honestly, an incredible college basketball game. We'll get to it a little bit more here once this thing gets going a little bit. Let's see here. Get our tweets out. What's up? Welcome in, everyone. Shout out the regs for getting in the chat. And if you're new, shout out as well, man. We're going to get going here again. Solo for a sec, fellas. Solo for just a sec. We're hoping gets better. I think the quality kind of blows right now on YouTube, but we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna dig with it, and we're gonna make it happen because it's gonna work. All right, I got the go ahead from Carter, and we're gonna get started. I'm gonna give you my best Carter impression here. All right, ready? This is for the edit. Shout out to the live peeps. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're live. We're recording this right now. Immediate reaction to BYU beats Dayton, wins the Terry's Chocolates ESPN Events Invitational Championship. They got the picture with Mickey Mouse. They got a trophy. They're bringing it home. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet piece of hardware. And pretty awesome set of games. There's going to be so many thoughts being shared. We're not going to go quite as long on the live tonight. Obviously, just one game. Quick turnaround from the show last night, but we definitely have some thoughts. There's going to be some negative things to point out and say in this one, but also there's plenty of positives. I think at the end of the day, a win is a win. A tournament's a tournament, and we're going to talk all about that. But we are going to kick it off with. I want to skip the chat early today because. One, I'm solo. Two, I appreciate everyone coming into the chat. Carter and I both do, and feel like we want to recognize in real time a little bit more, what you're all saying instead of responding to something 15 minutes down the road, because I know that can be frustrating for you guys, and honestly, for us, it helps us flow a little bit better. So, as soon as the chats are going in, I'm just going to try and acknowledge them right away and talk about it. If you have a question or whatever, we're just gonna roll. We're gonna have a good time tonight until Carter hops on. He is he's traveling right now. He should be here in about 10 minutes or so. So don't worry, you don't get just me tonight. You'll have the full package. I don't know what I don't know what condition he'll be in, or exactly what he's gonna be, streaming from. But we're gonna get it going. He says he's in the chat right now. He says on my way, and blame Delta. He says on my chase. Kind of weird. But Preston, what's up, brother? Shout out my day one. Eli, I am pulling a Greg Jennings tonight, man. I'm sore from a turkey bowl. I really, man, I woke up today and felt legitimately old for the first time, probably in my entire life. Maybe the 6-7 thing was the first instance. This one's the second instance. The day after the turkey bowl is putting me through the ringer. Undefeated in the turkey bowl though. Richie Saunders lottery pick from a guy Nathan Lockwood. Man, God bless you, Richie Saunders. Legitimately saved the game for BYU. And let's go ahead and start there and start talking about this game. It was ugly, folks. No other way to say it. No other way to spin it. It was ugly. A lot of things went wrong for BYU, and a lot of things to talk about. A lot of things to break down in film. Let's start with this. Focus. You got to be able to bring some sort of energy and focus to these games. I understand it is Thanksgiving at the day after Black Friday. I understand it's a holiday. I understand you're in Orlando. I understand you're flew out. I understand it's a cold, weird gym. I get all of those things. Trust me, I know. But what do they always say? You can control your attitude and your effort. Not saying BYU had very poor of either of those, but they do lack in these last 2 games. We saw it in Miami and again tonight versus Dayton, a sense of urgency, a sense of this is a big game. We're trying to get up for it. I understand it's not the biggest game. I understand it's not the best opponents you're going to see this season. You have an insane schedule, but you want to give them the same respect, not for their sake, but for your sake, because you want to go out and show the country who you are. I mean, wouldn't it be better if you just walked in there and played the way you were supposed to play up to your potential and dog walked Dayton and Miami and whoever? Yeah, it would. Now you got to credit Dayton for shooting out of their minds, playing a great game. Legitimately think they had a good game plan against BYU, and we'll get more into that. So I don't think they were ever going to dog walk Dayton tonight. I don't think it was ever going to be a blowout, but it certainly didn't have to be the way it was, right? Especially in that first half and towards the end of that second half there. Um, Richie Saunders is legitimately the savior of this team. Without those threes, and you might look at the score and say, okay, like you can't exactly take points away when the game's over. With the momentum Dayton had in those moments, they were getting hot from three and not missing. If Richie Saunders doesn't hit those, BYU loses this game. I feel fully confident. If he misses just one of those, right? I think this is a different game and we're having a much more somber podcast. But his confidence, his ability to just rise up over anyone and in the biggest moments, hit the biggest shots. And when the moment is biggest, Richie Saunders shines the brightest. I mean, the the crossover step back 4-point play and then immediately going down and with a guy in your face, seemingly every time hitting it's wild. It's beyond me. The way he's able to do it over defenders, get so much higher than them at his release point, so quick. The arc is still on point. I mean, it's unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. Let's talk about the next thing, and this is our guy Jameson. I think this is a really good point. I don't know what to make of AJ. To be honest, I'm still figuring it out too. And to be completely honest, I think he is. I think the coaching staff is. I think this team is. There's a reason it's a long season. I think it's important to remember a couple things. One, he's a freshman and he's not treated like one, right? He's had the spotlight on him forever. At the same time, he's a freshman. I think about it with, to cross over football a bit, Bear Bachmeyer, who's been unbelievably impressive, but every time you see him make a mistake, you just have to keep reminding yourself he's a freshman. Now, AJ is advanced beyond his years. Basketball's a little bit different, right? He'll be in the NBA this time next season, and he's going to be expected and asked to grow up a lot quicker than most of us do in life, but especially in basketball. I still think there's a lot of things for him to learn, as is very evident. But I also think he's got the intangibles and he's got the good stuff down really good. I think tonight what really impressed me the most about him was his ability to keep a cool head. Like those Dayton dudes, they know who he is, right? They know what they're doing, getting in his face, chirping, acting like they're hot stuff, right? When they hit a three or whatever, play good defense, force a turnover. His ability to just walk away and be like, whatever, man, and continue to play his game of basketball. And it wasn't the prettiest tonight, again, for sure. And I don't know if this week's been exactly stuff he wants to put on tape. But that stuff's really important, right? His effort on defense is really important. His willingness to go and rebound is really important. The scoring needs some work. The passing needs some work. There's little lapses with the traveling, with the offensive fouls, with the losing the ball off the dribble, that a few of the guys on this team have that just are coming with basketball, especially with being young. But here's what I will say: you have a what would we call this? A bad AJ game. We'd probably be like, oh, that was not his best. Like I said, probably not something he wants to put on tape. He still was 18 points. He was 7 from 12 from the field, just outrageously efficient. Went 101 from 3 and 3 or 4 from the free throw line. Had 4 rebounds, 3 assists. The 3 turnovers are what we really want to clean up, right? And really want to see be better from AJ. But still, we say bad AJ to advance the game. And it was. Anyone that watches it would probably be like, that's not really what you want to see out of him. 18 points, 7 of 12 from the field. Still grabbed rebounds, found people in assists. And he really handled the doubles, honestly, pretty well. There's times he could have been better for sure. But his ability to not get caught in them, not really let them trap him. And then he was finding dudes, especially late, We found Richie Saunders a few times. We found Kennard Davis. We found Rob Wright. Even if it didn't lead to direct assists and threes from him, pulling it out and forcing Dayton to start to scramble at that point, I think is really important. And he had dudes over him all night. I personally think he's officiated differently than a lot of guys in college basketball. I don't know if that's necessarily fair. I think that just comes with the title and name. It's college. It's the ref show all the time. But for as much as there is to be upset about and to say, hey, kid, you need to fix this, there's a million things to say. Look, man, this is really good and high level stuff. And it always is. The mid range stuff is better than anyone in college basketball. Getting to the rim and finishing still needs to be worked on. I think he's going to be okay. I think this was a rough week for him. And still look at the stats, still see what the impact he had on this team and how much he means to BYU. But I agree with you there, Jameson. Let's keep going here. Our guy Jensen, I believe that is the right. Such a fun game, great atmosphere, high level shot making down the stretch. Just really fun. Got to appreciate these wins. Go Cougs. I really appreciate this comment because it was a fun college basketball game, man. At some point, you just got to look at Dayton and be like, holy cow. Like, you guys are just hitting shots. And you're like, we talked about, Carter and I there in the preview, our very short preview last night, that Dayton on the season has shot like in the 20s percentile, 20% number mark for shooting threes. They shot it really well last night, and we were like, we got to pay attention to that. And tonight, I mean, they were insane. Javon Bennett going 6 of 11, carrying that Dayton team in the first half and building like sizable lead against BYU. Was super impressive. I mean, 45.5% from the 3-point line. You took 33 of them. You made 15 threes, folks, and BYU won. And we're mad about it. We feel gross about it. BYU beat the team that just shot 45.5% from the 3-point line, and they were not shy about taking them. They were awful from the free throw line, I'll tell you that much. And you can, I guess, count BYU lucky for that. You can shout out the fans for that. I don't know who, but you got to take these wins, like our guy Jensen says, and appreciate them. And if I'm in the locker room and I'm giving the speech or whatever, I think BYU and the players, they know that this wasn't their best performance. They probably are frustrated with the way it went. But I also would be like, look, guys, it's Thanksgiving. These tournaments are always weird. I mean, look across the country. Look who else has lost to inferior opponents, right? Look at Florida losing to TCU. TCU rattled off the Florida win and the Wisconsin win. Sometimes teams get hot in Thanksgiving, just like they get hot in March Madness. This is basketball, man. I mean, guys get streaky, momentum builds. BYU handled a big, fat, streaky game from Dayton, 45.5% from three. Again, they handled that, and they weathered that storm, and they won the game. They took their best punch, Dayton's absolute best punch on both ends of the floor, and said, okay, now let's win this game. And they went and did it. So I'd be happy with it. A win is a win. A ring is a ring. A banner is a banner. And Terry's Chocolates 2025 will forever go down in BYU lore. It is a special time. Potato King says from Beget Jax, talking about Richie, of course. Jack says we really saw BYU become the Terry's Chocolate ESPN events invitational champion before an Embiid Western Conference Finals. I think you mean Eastern Conference Finals there, brother. He plays for Philly, but you're absolutely right. Nathan Lockwood says Rob deserves a little less love, in my opinion. Nathan, I'm interested to hear a little bit more about that. Why exactly you think that? I think I just would like to know specifically, because I'd like to know. I think he was. I mean, I always think Rob Wright's awesome. We talked about the passing stuff. He gets in these moods where he's like, I'm going to score, or I'm going to, I'm going to take the ball. It's kind of my thing right now. Or he's feeling really unselfish. Also, it's, again, we talk about this all the time. It's up to the guys to actually make the shots and make it happen. But Rob Wright, as Carter enters the great time, Rob Wright goes 23 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 turnovers are not what you want. 15 from the team. Is not what you want BYU. They've been really good this season, typically, about taking care of the ball. Tonight was not that night. And the sad part was most of it was on dribbling. Most of it was not even like Dayton playing good lanes. It was mostly BYU getting a little too fancy with it. I'm interested to see why you said that, Nathan. I'm not saying I disagree with you necessarily, but I did think that Rob, had one of his better games, shooting wise, especially Carter. He was able to get in the lane, make it happen, finally finish. Thank you for saving me, Carter, from this solo experience. Don't worry, the chat's been taking care of me though. We've been
Okay,
rolling.
good.
We've been doing good. How was
Good.
your flight? Good to see you.
Oh, it was 3 flights today. Brutal, but it's okay. We're back. We were able to catch up on the game and everything, and we're locked in. So I'm sure you already hit on the important stuff. Richie Saunders is unbelievable, sluggish first half, and now we're into the Rob Wright portion of this, where Rob Wright is awesome, and Rob Wright is the backbone of this team. Yes, Richie and AJ can take us over the top, but Rob is the foundation of this team because the big time shots he hit in that second half, his ability to penetrate, and also, not to mention, he was kind of saving BYU in the first half as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one actually finding the bottom of the net there in the first half and kept BYU in it. I mean, Dayton had a real opportunity to make that lead much larger than it was, but BYU was able to make it happen. Carter, a thing that's going on in the chat right now that we should talk about: 0 bench points tonight from the Cougs. You had an amazing performance from the big three. Nothing from the bench.
Yeah, let's just get out in front of it, Chase. The Tyler Morus 3 and the Diamande 3 were catastrophically bad. And that happens. Juices are flowing. It's a title game. I mean, I want to win the Terry's Chocolates, ESPN Invitationals, MTV event as much as anybody. But, the bench play, I mean, once again, that's just going to be a problem going forward. If that doesn't get fixed, that's going to catch up with BYU. Not to mention a bunch of other stuff I want to get to later on that's going to catch up with BYU if they don't get this solved soon. So, 0 bench points is a problem, Chase. Is a major, major problem.
It is. And our guy Preston asks, what are your thoughts on the future of the bench with Dawson being out? I really thought that they missed him tonight. They missed his ability to kind of do what Rob Wright does in a way. They do it different styles, but they both get those paint touches. And I'm telling you guys, in basketball, paint touches are everything. They open up everything. Dawson was really good at it. Rob's really good at it, and it led to points. Whether it's them scoring or finding the right guy, if that's the center, if that's a three-point shooter, whoever, they miss that production off the bench. And so when Dawson's not producing off the bench and Diamante's not hitting, Morus isn't hitting, then you've kind of run out of players from the bench, Carter. And that's where it goes. So I think with Dawson out, I don't know. We still don't know his status, by the way. Maybe someone will end up asking that here in a little bit. He was in a wheelchair. He was at the game. They looked like the cast or brace or whatever was lower leg. I'm not speculating too much. If it's away from the knee, that's probably a good sign, depending on how severe whatever the injury is. But I don't know anything other than that. So definitely missing definitely missing Dawson Baker, this BYU squad.
Yeah, that's they're gonna need him because they need someone from the bench. I mean, we saw Kostic come into the game for a minute. I was hoping he could contribute, but he was never really able to get his feet wet. He got that 1-3 ball up, but nothing really outside of that. Morus and Diamande did not look comfortable at all with the ball in their hands, and they didn't look comfortable at all being a part of this game whatsoever. I just don't know where it comes from on the bench, and that's going to be a major concern because look, man, come conference play, when you're playing twice a week and you're playing Big 12 competition, every single game, you're going Houston, Arizona, Kansas, just Texas Tech. You can't have Rob Wright and Richie Saunders play 38 to 40 minutes a night. That's just not sustainable. And then on top of that, what happens when those guys get into foul trouble? Who's going to step in from the bench and take on those minutes and produce? I don't know. I think that's a major problem going forward, Chase.
I think it's a major problem as well. If you're a starter, I mean, I think the attitude should be I should earn the opportunity for the bench guys to play by my play being great, building a lead to where coaches feel comfortable taking me out, if that makes sense. I know all these guys want to play. I know they do. But in a way, it's you earn the right to let other guys play in this game and also contribute, right? And that doesn't mean like not taking open shots. If you're the best player, you owe it to the team to take the right shots for you. That's not what I'm saying. It's more of you're earning the opportunity for the other guys to contribute as well. You creating opportunities for them. You're You're drawing the defense from other people, right? And you're letting them take opportunities to do it. I'm not saying it's the starter's fault, the bench production at all. But I am saying, like you're saying, Richie Saunders played 38 minutes tonight. He was incredible, 29 points. He's the reason they won. But it's not going to be forever. 38 points or 38 minutes, folks. I mean, that's he barely sat, and it's not gonna. The dog days of February, it's gonna catch up to him. It's gonna catch up to anyone. I know he's in great shape. I know he's in great condition. All that stuff. You just don't want that, especially on a Black Friday. In Orlando against Dayton. You needed it tonight to win, and the win's important. So I'm not super mad about it, but you can't keep it up. The bench has got to do more.
You mind if I change the subject for a couple things?
Please do it. We're done with that one.
Okay, so first off, I want to give credit to Dayton because Dayton came out in this game.
Yep.
They were hungrier. They wanted it way more, and they seemed like the better coach team in the first half of this game. They came out with fire, and they came out like, all right, BYU is going to overlook us. All right, we're ready for this game. They came out ready to play. Shout out to Dayton. I cannot wait to pick this team to win the A-10, and this team is – you got to keep your eye on this team going forward for the rest of the season because – they're going to be a problem come March Madness, especially with that guard play mixed in with they actually have a legit center, unlike a lot of mid-majors. Credit to Dayton. I want to put that out there as well. The slow first halves. What's going on? Like, did they have a second Thanksgiving dinner this morning? Like, what did they eat the leftovers from last night? Like, these slow first halves are such a problem, Chase. And we were texting nonstop in the first half. The ISO ball BYU is playing right now. BYU's offense, they're running the same offense they did at the beginning of last season. And last season, it didn't work because they didn't have the talent to do it, and they weren't getting by with it. They kind of were because they were playing such weak non-con. And then once they got to conference play, they're like, oh, this really doesn't work with our personnel. Then they had to adapt, figured out who they were, figured out what actually works in college basketball. We're seeing them resort to that same ISO ball offense that we saw last November, that this team is so talented they can get away with it, but come conference play, that this isn't going to fly. Coming out slow like this at the first half against Houston isn't going to fly. Running these just one simple high pick and roll action, and then it's ISO ball trying to hunt mismatches and just dribble, contested shot, AJ Savas kind of hero ball. That's not going to work come Big 12 play. Houston, the top head coaches in the sport are going to be, even if they don't have the talent to match with BYU, they're going to be able to figure out ways to defend it. Like, honestly, BYU is more talented player for player than UConn, in my opinion. But guess what? Dan Hurley figured out, hey, I know how to force BYU into these certain schemes they want to run and everything. I think that is a major problem here soon, and they're going to have to figure it out because this heavy ISO ball, and when BYU was at their best tonight? When AJ was making a cross-court pass to the corner with Richie Saunders in the corner, or Rob Wright distributing the ball. They got to figure out how to move the ball and run an offense with a little more motion. It's too stagnant, and dudes are not getting in rhythm, Chase. I think it's the biggest problem with this team right now outside of the bench production.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think slow starts are kind of there's a couple aspects to it. Sometimes you can't help it. Like, I think Dayton was hitting threes. That's a bit unexpected. BYU clearly wasn't ready for it. They were going under every screen, right? And they were not respecting the big men from the three-point line. And look, that's a poor scouting report. The numbers on the season told them that they could do that. You got to adjust. Took them too long to do that. That's another point. But the biggest thing, right? What can you do as a team to avoid that? It's to take easy shots, and it's easier said than done. But you get those by working for them. And you're absolutely right. The one-on-one stuff is not going to cut it if you want to actually make a deep run, win titles, and do all these things that we think this team has potential to do it. The figuring it out late, the figuring out in the second half. Look, I love BYU can come out strong in the second half. I love that they did it tonight. I'd love you to do that in the first half. What is keeping them from doing that all game long? I don't have the answer.
It's because they're coming out in this game acting like they're too cool for school, Chase. That's what it is. Like, they look down on the competition coming into this one. And I know UConn was a bit of a punch in the mouth situation, but it's also just really tough in this offense the way it is, and it's just so heavy ISO ball to find your rhythm. Like, luckily, Richie Saunders hit his shots early, and then he was confident, and he had that look in his eye like, hey, give me the ball. I don't care who's in my face right now. I'm hitting that shot. but it didn't feel like he was necessarily in rhythm till later on in the game. He was, especially later on in that first half, he kind of chucked a couple shots. I think it is a major problem because you go back to like the Duke Zion team. That team, yeah, they were unbelievably talented, but what was their downfall come March? It was, okay, lack of three-point shooting, lack of bench production, and too much iso ball, too much RJ Barrett dancing, and then force something into the paint. It doesn't work. It does not work in college basketball. There is a reason Dan Hurley goes off about not using any NBA schemes or any NBA type stuff in his offenses in college basketball. He steals all his stuff from Euroball because they play team basketball, chemistry. In the NBA, you can run those ISO sets because one, NBA players are ridiculously talented, and two, there's so much space on the court because when you have like a guy like AJ going ISO ball, guys around aren't good. There's not enough space, and two, guys around are just not at NBA level quality to hand it off to if they double enough. Like it's mind blowing how this offense is being run, and it's so frustrating. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it anymore because it is a real problem. Yes, these wins are awesome, but eventually it's going to catch up with BYU when they play against these top schools in the Big 12. I'm warning everybody right now if this does not change.
Yeah, preach, man. Go for it. I totally agree, but I also want to acknowledge that, and I think this is a good comment from Hammer Time 78 here. He says he's not worried about the slow starts right now. Team's still learning to gel and will get a lot better. Also, it seems like they're sizing up their opponents in the first half before putting on the Jets. I think it's important that BYU is getting this out right now. Is the stance I'm choosing to take. I think they'll figure it out like they figured it out last season. And this team's not last season's team. Different characters, all sorts of stuff. But I mean, they got to be better because if they don't figure this out, it's going to lead to losses. Like it led technically to the UConn loss. If you don't get down 20, you win that game, right? Hypothetically, if we put it all together. But to the commenters' point here, they are still learning to gel. There's a lot of season ahead of them, and doing this in cold gyms in Orlando, whatever, blah blah blah. We say it all the time. Is the place to figure it out, right? They clearly underestimated Dayton. They clearly didn't have the perfect scouting report on them, and it showed. And they got kicked in the teeth, and they thought that they could walk in there, just do their thing, dance around a little bit, get some buckets, school the kids, and make it happen. And guess what? The teams are good, man. Every D1 team is there for a reason. These guys play college basketball for a reason, especially a team like Dayton, who's no slouch, right? They want to win this tournament. They know the BYU's number 9. They know this would be a massive win for the program. They got up, they were ready for it, and it showed. And BYU, thankfully, because they're so dang talented and they started to figure things out on both sides of the floor, was able to come away with the win. But to your point, what happens when you start to play all these teams in the Big 12? Look at the middle pack of the Big 12. Look what TCU is doing. Look what Colorado, West Virginia, all these teams are doing, man.
Utah just beat Ole Miss last night or 2 nights ago.
If you do this, you could drop a game to anyone in the conference, literally anyone in the conference, if you come out and play like this. And that would be embarrassing if you lost to Oklahoma State, Utah, who are the bottom of the bottom. But that's how good these teams are, and that's what happens when you mess around when you show up to the gym.
Chase, a couple things. We'll get to everyone's chats and everything before this. I want to bring up this chat real quick. He sent it twice, but shout out at K-Man2Max. Tonight, Miami, Nova, and even Delaware, all games where we were somewhat outplayed and winning almost on talent alone. A nice problem as a BYU fan, but not sustainable for conference play. Exactly what I've been saying. Like, could not have hit it on the nail more. But I do want to put this out there too. I have full faith in Kevin Young and his coaching staff because we saw them figure it out last year when it was like right now BYU's in a great spot. You're a top 10 team in the country. You're probably rattled off a couple quad 2, quad 1 games. This is great. You're on a winning streak right now. I believe in Kevin Young and the staff showed us they can do it last year. I have 100% full faith they will do it this year. But it is, and it might be a good thing that they get punched in the mouth a little bit in conference play, and they might need that to figure out to reach their fullest potential. And another thing too is just the inconsistency of the lineups they've played with has probably affected this team as well, with Dawson Baker going down, Mood Davis being in and out with the suspension, and guys being injured and whatnot. more live reps and more of that will help this team going forward. I have full faith they'll figure it out, but it is very alarming right now because eventually, yes, all the talent is great to have, but you can't win on talent alone. Look at the last 8 years of Mike Krzyzewski's reign at Duke. Look at the last 10 years of Calipari's time at Kentucky. I mean, the amount of talent he had on those teams, and then once they got into the their half court offense, what happened? It was just ISO ball and just, wasn't really smooth and everything, but they were getting by on their talent alone. Eventually that catches up with you.
Eventually it does. Couldn't have said it better, Carter. I think you're absolutely right. It's the biggest thing we said. The only thing that we could see this team not having success this season is if stuff like that got in the way. So totally agree. I gotta interrupt real quick here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Arizona Wildcats. We're going to Dallas, baby. I mean, go ahead, rest LJ Martin. McKay Hillstead, get in there and chuck some balls around, brother. I'm just kidding. They probably won't do that senior night and everything. And, they always want to show out. But, hey, shout out the Cougs, man. Going to Big 12 title game. Get another crack at Texas Tech if they win tomorrow. I'm assuming they will. Obviously, they're insane. Pretty cool, man. Year 3, getting to the game. Should have gone to the game in year 2. The ability to bounce back from the football team after like an abysmal meltdown last season and just make it happen again with a teenager at quarterback. Pretty special stuff.
It's awesome. The fact that you have a true freshman quarterback with the disaster that was going on in the summer and the fact you're able to repair this and make the Big 12 title game and have a chance to punch your ticket to the college football playoff. And also, shout out Jeff Sims, just doing it for me one more time. This guy, man, I love this guy to death. Jeff Sims, this guy stinks. He's one of the quarterbacks you go, man, I can't wait to bet against this guy. You get so many times in your life to bet against a quarterback. And Jeff Sims, man, I love you, buddy. 11 of 25, 114 yards, and 3 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. Yeah, he ran one in. I don't care. Just thank you, Jeff. I love you.
Shout out Jeff Sims, the Emory Jones of our generation.
Arizona State quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Though.
Shout out Arizona, man. That's a really good win for BYU. Going and beating them in Tucson now looks incredible. Fafita's been playing awesome. Shout out Brett Brennan. They had an awesome end to the year, and this caps it up. I mean, big rivalry win for them. They'll be ranked at the end of the season, get a pretty good bowl game in, and bumps up BYU's resume a little bit more. I don't know if it's enough to do anything, but validates what we're trying to argue here.
Chase, we can dive into the football stuff a little bit later on, but I'm going to be disgusted with if BYU loses, or say they beat UCF and lose a competitive game in the Big 12 title game. BYU, it's laid out in front of them. They have to win the Big 12 because the committee's clearly shown they don't respect the Big 12 nor BYU. And I don't think we're getting any of the miracles tomorrow. Maybe Auburn. Upsets
Auburn's
Alabama.
our best shot. Auburn's the best, probably only shot now. I mean, Washington, I don't think has it in them, and I don't even think Oregon moves. We need them to move 6 spots if they lose that game.
I don't think that happens unless they get
go
smoked.
Tigers. Come on, Charles Barkley. We need something from your brother.
We need LSU. We're eat your Frosted Flakes tomorrow. Shout out Tony the Tiger. We need the LSU Tigers and the Auburn Tigers to win tomorrow.
Yeah, LSU's not. And Nussmeier's not even playing.
Yeah, Van Buren. I mean, we have a freaking U.S. president at quarterback.
Go Tigers! Come on,
Tigers!
On. We need you.
Back to the basketball. How electric was Bennett versus Rob Wright tonight?
That was awesome. I mean, as a basketball fan, that was one of the best games of the week, man. Just seeing those dudes trade threes there at the end. I don't know if you got to hear, Carter. I don't know if you had the sound on when you were watching on the plane. Fran Fraschilla was A1. He was top of his game. Incredible. When Richie Saunders hit like the crossover step back and 1-3, I mean, he said a lot. He was so good. He goes, "We get to do this for free."
Yeah,
I thought it was incredible. It gave me chills. He's awesome. He was so good tonight.
Yeah, there's certain commentators. I'll make sure because I usually, especially when I'm on the especially when I'm on the plane or whatever. I usually watch the games on mute, but when I have I was like, okay, I got to get the AirPods in. We got to listen to Fran Fraschilla, and he was awesome tonight. Could not agree more. He was fantastic, and just like his analysis of what was going on and talking about how great Rob Wright was with seeing the different the back end defenders on certain pick and rolls and everything, and seeing like when AJ was struggling, talking about, okay, this is how AJ needs to respond in these moments with the way Dayton's defending him and everything. So, he was awesome. And shout out the second half, man. I mean, you have the Vampire Cougars in football, and then you might just have the second half BYU basketball team, man. They just need to put a 2 on the scoreboard to let this team wake up. Just the pregame speech, Kevin Young.
Fellas, you missed the first half.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you were late for the first half. Second half starts now, and then you're just like, hey guys, by the way, I was lying. It's actually halftime. You're up 30.
Yeah. Something I want to kind of transition the chats here, and also I think we've been a little negative. This is a good win. Every win win's a good win. Jack said this really well, and we kind of talked about it a little bit. For context, we shot 47% from 3, he's saying, against Wisconsin, win that game by 30. Dayton shot 46%, Carter, and BYU still was able to get the win. I mean, they canned 15 threes. They're out of their minds, and you still walk away with a win here. At the end of the day, that's a really good sign, right? Being able to keep up with a team that's doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with this Dayton team's going to be competitive come March, and they're going to be at the top of the A10 and everything. So, like, this is a very good win, and I think you're right. I think I have been, especially me, I feel like I have been very negative, but there are a lot of positives, though. Like, I mean, the way Richie Saunders, are you kidding me? Like, his performance he put on tonight, and then also certain things I saw from AJ in the second half, the way he responded. When he was dishing the ball out this couple times, that's when he was at his best right there. And he hit that tough mid-range jumper to kind of ice the game right there. Like, Rob Wright, once again, I'll do the Rob Wright praise nonstop. I mean, he was so consistent from start to finish in this game. And then also, like, Kaba Keita making huge plays with that steal and coast-to-coast finish. Like, there were huge, awesome plays tonight from the starters, especially.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Of course, Eli says it best right here, man. I think he's I think this is a pretty good comment. AJ is the best player, but Rob Wright is the most important player on the team.
We hit our quota.
Always
Let's
a good
go.
one. I like this comment. Shout out Brian. Says, wow, Rob Wright, what a steal from Baylor. Great game, but you guys need to start valuing and covering the spread. Not all of your fans are LDS, and we need to eat too.
Let's just say I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. But also, like, that kind of does matter when BYU come into a game. They were what, a 9.5 point favorite coming into this game. Like, that also plays into the expectation of a game of, okay, like, Vegas knows what they're doing. BYU, realistically, they are 10 points better than this Dayton team.
Yeah, they are. And like, I was thinking about that. I was like, we expected them to crush them. And then I was like, well, the spread was 9.5. Like, that's not, it wasn't like Vegas thought they were going to crush them. So, we're trying to be positive and negative. But I got all my negative stuff at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah,
I became the villain here. So,
I'm doubling down. I know I'm having to play I came in, you're like, all right, I'll play good cop, and then I'm playing bad cop.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic rope-a-dope. I mean, this is a
but also credit to me though. I took 3 flights today. Okay, I get to be bad cop. I've been sitting on a plane all day. I had to go to Idaho.
Oh man, I'd be
Salt
so
Lake,
grumpy.
Atlanta, Greensboro, just brutal.
Yeah, I don't envy you. I'll just say that. But you're back home, Carter. You get to sleep in your own bed tonight. That's a win.
Back home, and then we're going to the Jimmy V Classic. Don't worry.
Going to New York. Yes, sir. Let's go. Jameson says Bennett was going off. Talking trash to AJ is not a winning strategy. However, we talked about a little bit about that solo, Carter. I don't know if you saw a lot of Dayton dudes chirping at AJ this game and the whole team, to be honest.
And that's going to be a thing going forward too. AJ's got a target on his back also, but you're going to be likely the number 1 pick in the draft. That just comes with the territory, and he'll be able to respond. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I was so, like, I don't know if proud's the right word, but I was impressed by how he just didn't, he was like staring straight ahead. He was just like, who are you? You know, like he was like not even going to acknowledge it. We've seen AJ like get a little bit back and forth with some dudes, but he really like kept his cool in this game. Like I think our guy Eric Mika was like, if I was 18, someone was doing that, I probably would have punched him in the face. I'm like, I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you at all. Any chance, again, Jameson again, we see KJ Perry and Ahmed mid-season? Carter?
Uh, it's definitely non-zero. Ahmed's eligibility is still up in the air from what I'm being
Yeah.
told. I don't think it's been decided whether he has he definitely has a minimum of 2, I believe, but I don't think he's gotten that third year yet. KJ, I believe, has 3 years of I got to double check everything, but I believe he has 3 years. I just don't know if these guys are willing to burn eligibility for a half season. If I had to guess, I feel like KJ would be more likely to burn the red shirt than Ahmed. But Ahmed's
Especially since
much
the backcourt depth's the issue, right? The thing that they're
and plus
really looking
Ahmed,
for.
but also Ahmed's older too. But I would lean towards KJ Perry if anything. We'll see. Coaching staff will have some tough decisions to make over the next few weeks.
Well said. Well said. Media trained this guy. Preston says, not a big fan of the zone defense. We have the athleticism. Why don't we play more man?
I I texted you this, Chase. Shout out Preston, great comment
He
because
literally texted me this. Yeah.
I texted you this because you know why they played zone is there's 2 reasons. One, it's change things up, throw different looks and everything at them and try to throw off their rhythm. But also I think it was when there's a lack of effort on the basketball court, you can get by playing zone. When you play man, if that effort's not there, you're just going to get beaten, especially for how confident Dayton was. So I felt like the coaching staff, I get why they did it too, because they're like, look, the effort isn't here yet. Let's go to a zone and maybe that'll, shake some things up, throw Dayton off the rhythm a little bit and get our guys a little bit more confident and get their energy levels going. So that's my thought, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
No, it's a really good point. A different look. They did go to it like some big moments. There's times it works, times it doesn't. I'm with you though, and you said it really well. Again, you texted me. I'm going to steal it because you didn't bring it up. What the going to under the screens thing was like the big issue there, and I think they hoped the zone would kind of remedy that, and it did keep Bennett at bay most of that second half. But man, when a guy is 6 feet tall, probably shorter, and
He's
you said this, you
5'10".
texted this to me. He's 5'10", Carter. Go over the screen and let him deal with Keba Keita at the rim if he wants to keep going. Like as soon as he hits 1, 2, it's like okay, it's everything's over with this guy. We've seen enough. You're not allowed to do that to us anymore. That adjustment was, I don't understand it, right? And to Preston's point and your point, we do have the athleticism to stick with these dudes. Like BYU can be a great man-to-man team and should be able and have the ability to shut down anyone at any given moment. The going under the screen things was weird and it obviously killed him. I mean, he was just feasting off of that all night long.
I love it. I love it. Shout out Preston, ball knower.
Shout out Preston. Been one of my best. He was co-best man at my wedding. So we love that man in this house. Jameson again. What happened to Kozlowski, by the way? Utah Player of the Year. Nobody even asking about him. He's not even dressing. I think he's still hurt, Carter.
I believe he's still hurt. And then
Probably redshirting.
My guess at this point is if you're Kozlowski, you're gonna want a red shirt. Keep as much eligibility as possible. If I'm him, because at this point, I don't know when he's coming, if he's like available, when he's coming back or anything. And even at this point, it's like, are you okay? You just missed a month of the season, especially non-con for a guy like him who's playing a bench role and needs those rotational minutes. When a lot of these bye games are like, if he's not ready to go with these upcoming bye games, he's not going to be able to play come conference play because your feet aren't wet and everything. It's just not going to work. So then at that point, if you're Kozlowski, it's like, I'm not burning a year of eligibility to, come in and play maybe a couple minutes a night in the Big 12. So if I was him, I think you red shirt and everything, but shout out the Wizard of Cause.
Wizard of Cause. I mean, that's got to be the nickname when we finally get to see him. I've said this 100 times on the podcast. I'll say it again. I watched with my own eyes, senior season, Brody Kozlowski dropped 45 state quarterfinals or semifinals, one of the two. I mean, he was completely unstoppable. I know that guy could be a good college basketball player. It sucks that the injuries have kept him down. Who knows? Maybe they rush him because of the injuries of the team. I have no idea. But I think it's fair to bring him up because that was a big recruiting win for BYU. It was a big loss at the time. It was a big win to have him come over once all the coaching shakeups happened across the country. But we'll keep our eye out for him. And obviously, if we hear anything, you guys will be the first to know. This podcast was the first to report technically that Kennard Davis was playing yesterday. So shout out Julio in the chat. If you don't know that story, go listen to the last podcast. It was awesome. Hammer Time is back saying, not worried. We have KY. I believe in KY. This is a good experience and we'll be well with them in the real tourney.
Well, I agree. I have full faith in this coaching staff, like I mentioned before. So not worried about that, but just this is something to note going forward. And also, look, you want to blow out a team. Obviously, you want to win comfortably. But you know what? It also doesn't hurt having the experience of icing these games and, putting these games away, like these close games like that. So there are positives to take away from this as well. So I want that out there.
Yeah, totally agree. We'll take a short break to remind everyone, Batty is daddy. BYU to Arlington. Let's freaking go, man. Go win a Big 12 title.
Baby. Go Cougs.
Be sick. Come on.
You going to the game tomorrow?
I'm not. No. Oh, wait. I am going to the game tomorrow. What am I talking about? Yeah, grab tickets. I thought you were talking about the Big 12 title game for a sec. I mixed it up. It's late here, Carter. Give me a break. Later for you, but we don't need to talk about that.
It's 1 a.m. What are we talking about here?
Let's get on to the next comment here. But yeah, for real, shout out BYU football, man. If you're going to the game, be freaking loud for those guys. I know it's UCF, whatever, they've locked it in, but this is, I think this is pretty special what they're doing here, right?
And Kalani just does not get enough respect in the national media. Like, it's out of control at this point. Like, he deserves to be talked about amongst a lot of these top coaches and everything. And I feel like people just treat BYU as a shout out co-host on another podcast we do, Cartercast. They just kind of treat BYU as a cute football team. It feels like sometimes. So just
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if like the people from this show went and rated that dude's comment section. Just gave him a piece of their minds. Go listen to the Cartercast to figure out. Big day for him tomorrow, huh? He better have his phone on mute. Let's be honest.
I will have a halftime FaceTime with him. I can guarantee that. But anyhow, let's move on.
All right. Jack says Carter's hatred of the Players Era tournament is leaking into BYU's performance.
I will have more on this on Monday on Cartercast College Basketball, but the Players Era tournament is the stupidest tournament of all time. Chase,
I disagree.
What? No. Hear me out. I don't want point differential in basketball. I don't want it. Point differential is stupid in basketball. It makes sense in soccer. In soccer, you play everybody, you play each other home and away, and then the point differential, that matters. You play everybody in your group. In a tournament like the Players Era, point differential shouldn't matter when Tennessee gets to play Rutgers and beat them by 35. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. I don't want point differential. I want brackets. I want a simple, this is how it is, an 18 bracket, make it easy. Then I can be in on the Players Tournament. Until we get brackets, I'm out.
Okay, I agree. The format for the whole thing was completely ridiculous and a waste of time, to be completely honest with you. But the games that were played, the teams that were cured and brought in, it was the best event of the week by far. So that is why I'm all for it. And they put money in it. People care. I thought it was a success, except for the points you're talking about. I agree with those.
Yeah, and I don't know how they fix that, but because these coaches all want to know their matchups ahead of time and everything, and that was their whole complaint of these MTEs. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is college basketball. This is tournament basketball. Like, when you get to the conference tournament, you don't have the luxury of knowing which opponent you're going to play ahead of time. When you get to the NCAA tournament, you don't have much prep time of knowing. You got a day in between. Like, what are we smoking here? Like, that crap makes me so mad. Like, play a bracket. Let's play college basketball and let's go.
I agree.
This stuff gets me riled up, Chase.
I can tell, brother. I think coaches have become really like protective of their non-con schedules, and it's been a little bad for some of these MTEs. They've taken hits.
Yeah,
So
and look, I get it too. And you can still make great games happen outside of MTEs and all that. And I get you got to be like last season with BYU. I thought it was a genius way for BYU to start off Kevin Young's tenure of scheduling a bunch of weak non-cons. You're seeing Utah do that right now with Alex Jensen. You're playing basically 0 tough non-con games, maybe 2 or 3 P5 teams.
yeah, you're
That's
losing
what
them
you
though.
should do in a year one of a coach.
If
And
you're
like
Utah.
obviously they
Yeah.
haven't won them all and everything, but that's what you should do. Miami's doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, they are. No, I 100% agree with you. And BYU did it right. And then this year, I think they're doing it right. They've been having a hard strength of schedule. They got their top 20 in KenPom strength of schedule. I think that's the way it should be for a team of their caliber. Back to the chat real quick, Carter. Then we'll start to wrap up here, folks. Appreciate y'all for joining us. We're about 50 minutes in here. Ray McCoy says we need for BYU to keep playing with an extended bench. Back to the bench conversation a little bit. The role players need to have their minutes. And Boskowicz, even Staten needs to play. The Wisconsin game was more complete and sustainable. Thoughts, Carter?
I actually thought we were going to see some maybe Boscovich or Xavion minutes tonight because I thought I was kind of hoping for some Xavion minutes because I thought he would have been an interesting matchup on Dayton's big, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought so too. It was a tight rotation tonight, very tight. And obviously, like we said, no points from the bench. Look, we talked about it pretty ad nauseum, but I think he's right. The bench, the role players got to play the role. It's not rocket science. They got to carve out. We've seen some, like you said, Wisconsin. It was awesome. Like our commenter mentioned here, found some of their roles, did them really well. Tonight, not so much, but they got time to figure it out. Brian, our friend who new subscriber earned tonight. Shout out to you. Thank you for listening. And if you're not subscribed, you got to do it because we're going live after every game. We're doing previews. We're giving interviews, exclusive ones. You can always go back and listen to our old stuff. All of it's great. And last one in the chat. What happened to Dawson Baker? When's he coming back? He's hurt. It's a lower leg thing. We're not exactly sure. BYU is typically pretty close to his chest with this stuff. And odds are, I know this isn't like great podcasting. We'll know when on Twitter or whenever BYU decides to announce it. So hoping the best for him.
Especially with like the injury stuff, you want to be sensitive. So
for sure. All right, Carter.
The shout out Jack in the chat. Might return my French Dom costume after that.
Oh, it was incredible,
shot.
Jack, it was awesome, man.
Did he send
so
you?
Good.
Did he send you the costume?
He did. He sent me last night when I asked him live on this show. Also, he went to Topgolf in the cow suit. I don't know if you saw his tweet. He was in the cow suit with his dad going to Topgolf. I mean, what a way to spend a Black Friday, man.
That's hilarious. Oh, that is hilarious. Any closing thoughts from tonight, from the game and everything? I know you went solo, so you probably got all your stuff out there.
My closing thoughts are up. Just want to say again, thanks everyone for hopping in. I want to end with this. We had some negative, we've had some positive. BYU is still awesome, man. They're so fun to watch, so dang talented. It really is a blessing to be able to cover this team. And I like Hammer Time says, I trusted KY, man. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot to be frustrated about, but there's going to be a lot of things to be happy about, and they're just going to get better and better and better. And so looking forward to them continue to do that. Terry's Chocolates Invitational champs, baby. Come on.
Yep.
Anything is possible.
Real quick before we wrap up, I also, same thing with, Kevin Young. I trust this team will figure it out more. And this is such a luxury. Like, I can't remember. I think it was Nathan Hot Takes a couple episodes ago was like, I think it was during the Wisconsin game where he's like, so this is how Duke fans are. Like, this is how Duke feels every year. They're just awesome, and their talent just wins out in games like this. So like, yeah, this is how it is for Duke every single season, to be honest. And then you start doing podcasts where you're this nitpicky because, think about doing this podcast, 5 years ago about BYU and say they won the Terry's Chocolates Invitational. We'd be sitting there like, we don't care how it happened. Let's go. BYU wins the Terry Chocolate, like win by 3. So awesome to see where it's been. It's gonna continue to be picky like that because if you want to win a national title, these are the things you gotta get out of your system and everything. But on top of that, this is a great win. Winning these close games like this will be beneficial for you in the long run, and just continuing to build that chemistry and keep it going and figuring out what works. And I think we saw a lot of that in the second half. I don't know, and I didn't get to mention this as well, but the defensive intensity that started in the second half as well was key to them starting off on a 22-2 run or something like that. Start the second half. They came out locked in defensively, which was great. And last thing, these upcoming games, Cal Baptist, outside of Clemson, but you got four out of the next 5 games are bye games, basically, with Cal Baptist, Eastern Washington, and whatnot. This is it. The bench, someone on the bench needs to show up now. This is your time. If you're one of these bench guys, Kostic, Diamande, Tyler Maruss, one of these guys coming off the bench, if you want to get legit minutes this year, show up in these games, because this is your chance. You're going to get a lot of minutes in these blowouts, and I'm curious to see. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I think we see some guys step up. But of course, we'll get into our preview and everything on the next episode, Carter.
Well, we will. That'll be out, I don't know, Monday, Tuesday. Stay tuned at Church Ball Pod on everything once again. And shout out BYU football, man. Big 12 title game.
Big 12 title. Come on. I'm so excited, man. This team deserves a playoff spot.
And we got a healthy LJ Martin too against Texas Tech. That's what we need.
Mm-hmm. Neutral site too. I think that place is gonna be so full of blue, dude.
Really?
It's gonna be awesome.
I think it'll be. I mean,
there's gonna be plenty of Texas Tech, but man,
yeah, I would say 60-40 Tech.
I wouldn't be shocked if BYU showed up more than Texas Tech.
I think
I'm being blue goggled, but I really would not. I would not be shocked if it's more like 50-50.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
I wish I was going, but New York City's calling my name. Jimmy V Classic, baby.
Jimmy V. Shout out Jimmy V. Rest in peace, brother.
Rest in peace. But anyhow, all right, that's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right, I'll wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
Subscribe. Field of 6. I'll close it out, Chase. Don't worry. You had to do the hard part.
It's your job, man. You do it.
Yeah.
You know the words better than I do.
Yeah. And you had to start the show. That's the worst part. You having to say we're live. Subscribe. Field of 68 Podcast Network, at Church Ball Pod on everything, at Chase_Rogers0, at Carter BA. Our personals on there. Church Ball Pod, the best place for all your BYU stuff. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, we're on there. Subscribe, 5-star review wherever you're listening. And we will be back for a Cal Baptist brief preview. We'll do some takeaways from here, and we'll talk about BYU Texas Tech as well. And we'll go live after the Cal Baptist game for you. Don't worry. So anyhow, tune in.